Hello and welcome to EMP Power Sports and Marine in beautiful St. Mary's, Idaho. Today we're going to be replacing this old worn out Bing carburetor on our 1974 Rickman Montesa 250 VR with this beautiful new Mikuni VM34. This is a spec carb spec'd out to Southwest Montesa specifications, which we have. The part number is 001.118. It's a VM34. Once again, they're $199 setup spec'd. I think they're around $160 not spec'd. You can buy these on emppowersports.com. You can also get them, this one's a 34 millimeter, but you can get them in 30, 32, 28. I think they make a 36. There's several different sizes. They're all on the website. We're also most likely going to be asking Terry Cable to make us a new cable. We are a Terry Cable dealer. You can find those on the website. They don't currently make one for the Rickman, but I'm hoping they'll do that for us. This will be a video of me pulling off the old Bing, installing the new Mikuni, and firing the bike up and seeing how it runs. Overall, the carburetor looks like a nice piece. It's definitely an upgrade from that old worn out Bing. The only thing I can notice thus far is they always make a little bit of noise. The floats are on little slides. It sounds like the float level might be a little bit off as it's a little noisier than normal, but I'm sure it'll be fine. This is going to be an accurate real-time review. So far, I'm pretty happy with this. It's a nice little carburetor. So once again, if you have a vintage motocross bike, the Mikuni VM is the way to go. And there you have it. This is the Mikuni VM34 carb, which we just pulled out of the box. This is kind of tricky to do, but I'm just going to show you. So how you, when you pull it out of the box, you unscrew the cap, as we have here, then you have the carb body. You're going to end up doing is putting the new rubber on your existing throttle cable. Then you're going to run that through your cap. You're going to take a spring, compress it with your 2 fingers, and then very carefully, there's a keeper in here. You'll move that keeper out of the way, drop the throttle cable in and slide it back, put the keeper back in place, and then let the spring do pressure, put the pressure on it. If you're running rich or lean, you can adjust that little needle in there. There's a circlip. This is how Setco set it up. If you're running, if I remember correctly, if you're running too rich, you raise the needle, that leans it out. If you're running too lean, you can lower the needle and the circlip, and that'll fatten you up. So we're going to screw this back in. Then once you get to this stage in the process, very gently, and this, by the way, is a spec carb, so you can see that the slide's been cut for Southwest Montesa specification. I have that specification on file, so if you have a vintage Montesa 250 and you would like one of these carbs, please let us know. So we do have the specification. Screw your cap on very gently. I'm gonna have to replace this throttle cable. I don't know anybody who's making them. I'm gonna have to take measurements and have Terry Cable, who are a dealer for, make me a new throttle cable after our race. I want to make sure before I have a new cable made that this is going to be the correct size with this new carburetor. Make sure that your slide, there's 2, I don't know if you call them dowels. One of them's this little adjuster right here. When you slide the slide down, make sure that you clear those, that you're not hanging up, and that your needle goes into the needle seat, as I just did. And then we're going to adjust this carb. You can see that looks like it's pretty high up, so to adjust this, you just adjust this air idle screw right here. I'm just going to back it out. Now it's all the way down. So the correct way to usually set these up is you turn them until you just start to put pressure on and lift the slide. Right about there is a good base setting. From there I can fine tune it on the bike. Let's get this down in here to where it's not going to damage anything or get dirty. Down here, here's another thing we ran into. The stock bean carb's a different size, so our stock intake boot will not work. Also, the one of the air box will not work. I'm going to have something nice custom made. We can actually have these tapered down out of silicone. For the air box side, for fuel side, you need actual fuel hose. Luckily, it's 40 to 40, so I just got a nice little piece of fuel hose right here that's going to go on. And if my measurements are correct, this should be pretty straightforward plug and play, but we will see, as we are working on a 50-year-old bike and nothing's ever easy. That's nice, they nicked the rubber. That's a hose. I'll put this on this side then. Let's see if we can get this on here. I got a screwdriver, loosen up these clamps. Trying to get this boot on, it's extremely tight. Just a piece of radiator hose or fuel hose. Oh, God. Take these clamps off so I'm back over after. I believe this is standard hose. It should be larger than its metric counterpart, but if it can fight you, it always seems to. Try not to tear it if you use a screwdriver like I'm doing. What I'm doing is a little bit ham-fisted. There, I'm on. There's that. Whew, tight. Wrong size clamp. It's tight. These old bikes always be slow and ginger working on them. You don't want to get too ham-fisted. That's when you start breaking stuff. These are not Harley Davidsons. Good. Make sure it's nice and snug. If you leak, if you have any kind of cracks or leaks on this intake boot going into your intake, you'll run lean, and if it's a two-stroke like this is, you run the risk of seizing your motor, so don't do that. Make sure, always check and make sure those are in good shape. Put the other clamp on. Choke. Light clear. I'm gonna have to flip these hose clamps around. If I hit the choke, let's see. Just barely gonna clear it. It's hitting a little. Down below. I just rotate that down. When you're doing custom stuff like this, sometimes you have to fiddle with it, figure out how you want to set it up. Am I hitting? Yeah, I'm hitting. Always something. So this one's got to go up. All right, I got my hose clamps straightened out how I want them. Pop this back in. With these old bikes, you have to fiddle around to get them set up right, how you want them. There we go, that's better. As I said before, always inspect these boots, whether they're new or old. Any cracks will cause you to run lean. If you have a two-stroke, you will seize your motor. If you have a four-stroke, it just won't run right. Looks pretty good. Let's see where it is over on there. Like everything nice and even. As even as I can get it. That's probably good. Not too tight. So there's that. Vents out of the way. Mess with those really quickly. Zip tie I put on here for the old carb for the vent lines will probably still work. I have to re-zip tie. Just keep them out of the way and keep crap out of them. Hopefully. I'm gonna have to have 2 different vent lines. There's that. Mess up those after. All right, let's check out our. So this is the stock airbox hose. I guarantee this will be long enough to trim it. This is a piece of silicone hose. You cannot use silicone on the fuel side, but you can use silicone on the air side into the carburetor. This is just temporary to get us through a race and to see what we need. Like I said, there's a company that we work with that can make custom silicone hoses. They can taper down. I believe this is 57 millimeters and this is 51 millimeters on this side. So we just made a sleeve. But in the future, I'll have something custom that's tapered. So if you buy one of these carbs from us, if you give us the measurements, we can have a custom silicone hose made to your specifications. Let's get this on. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, we have the carburetor, the Mikuni VM34, set up for Southwest Montana specifications. If you have a Montesa 250, reach out to us, or any other vintage bike. We can get these spec'd up for any bike. We have the carb now hooked up and mounted with our adapter sleeve. I'm going to put the air box on now and see if it all links up. Here's our stock air box. This opened up. Still have to service my air cleaner. Running a K&N style. Just give this a wipe. One of the cleanest technicians you'll ever meet. Anytime I'm in here, I spend a couple extra minutes just making sure everything's nice and tidy. So, some compressed air. Guessing this is going to be a little too long, but we will see. Get it up and over. Come around this side, maybe. Oh, where's that other hose clamp? That air box. It's a little long, I think. Just a little long. Let's see how we're looking. Better to have it too long in the beginning and trim it down than to have it too short to begin with. Alright, so I am off. Measure. Measure twice, cut once. About 9 millimeters off. Same thing here. I think I have to cut it down about 9 millimeters, maybe 10. We got the carburetor all mounted up. We just trimmed the original sleeve a little bit, which we used as an adapter. We have this adapter on here now. This is going to be replaced, as I mentioned prior, with a custom sleeve. I'm just trying to figure out the length I needed. I had the diameters, but I wanted the exact length, and also if it needs a taper up or down. As this carb sits higher, I'm going to have to get a sleeve that kind of tapers down ever so slightly so I don't put pressure on the sleeves, the carb, or the air box. But this is a good temporary solution to get us to the races. We will be racing as long as everything goes according to plan in Fairfield, Washington at Rattlers Run, which is Rattlers Run Farms, on September 18th and 19th. If you're in the Northwest, it's definitely something worth coming to check out if you have a vintage trials or motocross bike. Observed Trials is Saturday. It's strictly vintage motocross on Sunday. Vintage motocross is 125s, 1975 and older. 250 and open class bikes have to be 1974 and older. You'll see a host of motorcycles from the 50s, 60s, and early to mid 70s racing out there. So if you're a vintage bike nut, we hope to see you there. Feel free to come find us in the pits. I'll be racing this 1974 Rickman 250 VR Montesa, which is the shop's project race bike. I look forward to meeting our subscribers. If you like what we're doing out here, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, and watch for video number 2 regarding the carburetor. Once we get gas in the bike and fine tune it, we'll let you know our honest opinion on this VM carb, the pros and the cons. As of right now, I do recommend these. I've put these on other clients' bikes and they've operated flawlessly. I'm pretty sure the float height in this one's not set right, so I might have to address that. But shy of that, this is definitely a good way to go if you have an old vintage motocrosser. We hope to see you next time here at EMP Power Sports and Marine.